I'm ready to start making my pockets for my items to drop into. On a lid like this, it was way easier than the lid that I'm working on, where you have to work with a tray and make sure everything fits and doesn't rock. So if you have a tray like this, it's way easier, number one. You can get more in, except for the foot control that goes here. Both sides, nothing is going to bang on your tray, but you still have to make sure when your lid goes down that you don't have anything near the edge so that the lid sits down flat on here. For these pockets, I made a strip. This is 1.5 inches about. So I made a 3-inch strip. Yep, that's what I did. I made a 3-inch strip and then just did it just like I did the inside pockets. I put right sides together, stitched the bottom, turned it, and I wrapped the ends around each edge so I don't have any ends showing. That was a lot easier than what it's going to be on this one. But you just decide how the depth that you want your pockets. These pockets I want on here because I do not want things falling down on my machine and scratching my machine. So that's why I'm putting pockets. But you might want your pockets taller. I just guessed, and most things I do, I just guess, and if I don't like it, I start over, but I was pretty happy with this. So start with deciding how tall you want your pockets. And if you have a case that doesn't have the foot pedal here, you can make one continuous strip all the way across. And just make sure on this type of case, put your machine in, keep putting it down, putting the case lid down to make sure that nothing hits on your machine. You don't want to scratch your machine up. The only thing I had to worry about was the tray on the side, that I put items in here that when I closed it, it wouldn't hit the tray. And there's also a little more room between the top of the tray and this lip. So you have a little more clearance on this kind. But you're gonna have to figure your own pockets. All I did was make a tube, just like I showed in the pockets below, and stitch that down on here. I've been going over my pocket design on this one and moving things around, and I definitely am not able to get as many things on this top because of the tray. But what I've decided to do, I'm going to make my strip for my cam snaps, and we're going to be using cam snaps. And these cam snaps I got at Amazon. It comes with a kit with the tool to put the cam snaps on. They're between $20 and $25. Most of these snaps came with the kit, but as I've used colors up, I've purchased them different places. These are size 16 cam snaps, K-A-M. And if you search for cam snaps, you'll find them all over the internet. But I like this because it was a variety pack. I didn't know what I was doing to start with and thought, okay, I'll try a variety pack. And I really like them. My daughter tried them on, put them on boys' robes because she had the robes that wrapped around with a tie and the boys didn't like that. And so I loaned them to her. She ended up buying her own. They work on a variety of things. I just love the cam snaps, but they come with the tool. You can also buy replacements like at Hobby Lobby, Joann Fabrics, places like that. But I didn't see the tool at either one of those places, so I got it from Amazon. Next, we have to decide what color we want on here. On the case I just showed you, I ended up using the bronze looking cam snaps because that's what color my hardware was. It's nice because when you have this variety, you can put them down, see what looks best. So this mint green, let's see, I'll put this up here. Mint green is kind of too minty for this. That might go good with a machine, with a white machine with that color case. I could put a dark green if I wanted, but it's too vivid for this old-fashioned looking material. So the one I ended up choosing is a light peach, and that's the one I'm going to be using. It matches the lining really, really well. So I thought, okay, it's a contrast. That's the one I'm going to go for. So how I decided on my pockets on this one, let me turn this around your direction. And I've got my books up here so my handle can be between my books, so it's easier to lay it flat. But this is all, let's see, oops, let me get my seam ripper. Unfortunately, this is all I can get to fit in here. I've got my little pin cushion that I made, and I just went on the internet and searched YouTube and saw how to make pin cushions, so I used my Dresden. And I used some of my rickrack from the Featherweight shop to set it off, and just made a tiny pin cushion, and I'm going to put a needle in there too. Pin cushion holds a few pins and a few of the clips. Those are my favorite things to use. So I'll have my seam ripper. I'll need a pocket at the bottom of that. I'm going to have a little pocket for my needles to go in and a cam snap to hold that in. I'm going to have a cam snap to hold this in, cam snap to hold this in, and then for my scissors, I definitely don't want my metal scissors falling out and hitting my machine, so I'll have a cam snap here to hold those in. How I figured my sizes. When I measured my cam snaps, I'll get a darker one so you can see maybe. I measured my cam snap, and these, when you purchase them, this is a size 16 cam snap, but they are 1/2 inch. So what I did was I took some of my scraps, and I usually just use scraps for little things like this, and I did a 2-inch strip. So I did a 2-inch strip. I'm going to take my interfacing. I folded this and ironed it. I'm going to take my interfacing and iron that on, and then I'm going to fold in on each side, just like you would on lots of sewing projects. And I'm going to make a strap, iron that all together, stitch it down, and then my cam snap will fit on there perfectly. So for my cam snaps, the size I use, size 16, I did a 16-inch strip, and I did quite a long one. I probably don't need this much, but I'll show you how it looks when I'm finished sewing it. For my pockets, I'm just going to have a small pocket to hold my needles, a small pocket to hold the bottom of my seam ripper, and I did 4 inches. I did a 4-inch strip, and I've got too much too. It was just a scrap, so I cut a 4-inch strip and a 2-inch. On this one, I'm just going to do the SF101 interfacing on half of it, because I want my pockets to stretch a little bit on the top to hold the wider and heavier items. The books are way thinner. So I'm going to do a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to fold right sides together, stitch down, turn, and then top stitch I'll top stitch on the top. So I'll show you that when I'm finished with both these items. As I watched my video back, I didn't do a real good job of explaining the size fabric I cut, the width. For my bigger pockets, I did 4-inch width of the material and 2 inches for my interfacing. For my cam snap straps, I did 2-inch width, and for my interfacing, I just want a little 1/4 inch strip of I did it again. I wanted a 1/2 inch strip of interfacing on my cam snap strap just to add some stability. And how I got my 1/2 inch was my 2 inches for my width for my straps is going to be folded into fourths. So I just divided 2 inches by 4 and came up with my 1/2 inch. So I hope that clarifies how I came up with my width for material and interfacing. Okay, I've got my interfacing on and I've got my ironing done. So I took this, let me make sure it's showing up, ironed it in half, and then pressed into the center seam and press that, and then I'll stitch it together for my cam snap straps. And on this one, I told you to do a 2-inch piece of interfacing. I decided I didn't want it that far in my seam, so I did 1 3/4 inch of interfacing. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to put right sides together. Right sides together, stitch and turn and press this. I wanted to put my threadostats in the lid, but there just wasn't enough room. And I just wanted them to pull threads, but I found something amazing that I can do with them. I usually put a safety pin on to turn my tubes. I'm working on my pocket, but it's so cool. And it's hard to do this because I'm doing it over the camera, but I can just grab my material and pull out. Another great use for your threadostats. Sorry, I just had to let you know on that one. Has nothing to do with the case, but I love it. I love it. Thanks, Featherweight Shop.